I just remember you going after Foligno, who's a big man.
Guy,
He's a big guy, and I just thought, Jesus, just protect yourself for one, just because he's so big. But I just thought the ball's on this kid,
100%.
and that's what leaders do. And I know you're young, you're getting into your third year, but we talked about this as well. Like, definitely see you as a leader, especially in the next few
100%.
years. And you probably, do you think of yourself that way now? Maybe.
Yeah, I think right now I just try and do like the lead by example things. Obviously, we have some great leaders, Coots, G, Hazy, you can go down the list, Cam. But I think just my first year to have Jake, G, Niskanen, those guys to really learn from them and like see the work that they put in. It opened my eyes to what actually being a leader is. Like, you come up and everyone's like, oh, you got to be a leader. But like, what does that really mean? Like, but, just doing the little things, being able to speak up when the time's right. I think G does that great. He's not barking the whole time. He knows when to pick his spots and when to get on guys, which is great. But back to the Foligno thing, that week was really funny for me. So I fought, my first fight was against Peugeot in Ottawa a few days before.
Yeah.
And then I fought Foligno, and then we went to Winnipeg, and I got a 3-game suspension. So, in 1 week.
Right.
Yeah, so
get some street credit, man.
Yeah,
get some street credit.
Is that all right, Dad? Hey, guys, is that cool?
Yeah. But the Foligno fight was actually that was one of my coolest first NHL moments. I don't know what game that was for me, but it was early, and it happens. I kind of obviously I knew who Foligno was. I know he's really tough, but just in the game, it just happened. Whatever, I grabbed him, and he kind of let up, which was really good. I fell down on my knee, and he stopped punching me. But the coolest thing after was so the period ended, and then we came out and got back in the box after, and he he yelled down at me, and he was like, "Hey, like you good, brother?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Thanks for thanks for letting up." And he's like, "No worries, man." He's like, "I love that. I respect the hell out of that. That's really cool." Yeah. And I was like, "That's
really neat."
Because I think for me, like, playing against the best players in the league is awesome. Like playing against Ovechkin's, Sid and all those guys is really cool. But for me, like what I really enjoy about the game is like the heavyweights. Like I love playing the guys that are super tough. Like Sam Moran that we had. He, like just the way those guys like go into the game and like the game they play. It's so hard. Yeah. And like they really don't get enough credit, to be honest with you. But,
I agree.
I really not that I'm a good fighter by any means, but like I love the art of fighting. Like I think it's such an important part of the game. And for me, just a heavyweight in the league to say that to me was such a cool moment for me.
That is actually awesome. But Beezer, you're so young, you may not remember Riggs, but he's
probably not. He's probably still in his diapers when I was slugging it out.
He used to sharpen up the knucks a lot. You would have enjoyed him. I remember Riles, you telling me the one summer, like I gotta not get so wild and like stay in these, like, because he's doing all his training to fight, right? He had these cops. You had those cops coming from Camden.
Cops,
and I'm like, and he weighed at the time 220. Now he's a toothpick. Now this guy, he's like a bird now, Beezer. But he was 220. But these monsters are coming in from Camden Police,
right?
And
like
he's like, oh, we're just like sparring. And I go up there one time. He's leaving with black. They're punching each. They're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. But anyway. That is awesome that Marcus did that, because that like I said on the bench, everybody's like, fuck, you just up clapping, tapping your stick. I mean, it is a very important part of the game. I think.
I remember after the game, I forget where we were going. I think we were on our way to Winnipeg, but I was getting on the plane and Chuck walked by me and he's like, let's not do that again. It was just kind of subtle, like, don't do that again.
Do that again.
Yeah, it was not like you were looking for it, right? No. I mean, it's not like you went to ask him to square off in the middle of the ice.
No.
I mean, I think if I remember the fight correctly, he slew-footed someone right in front of the bench, right?
So,
and you were right there. And
yeah, it was just like a breakout kind of, and then the puck got tied up at our blue line, or I can't remember, but he kind of slew-footed Niskanen, and he was like our oldest guy at the time. So I was like, that was the first guy. So I kind of remember cross-checking him. Yeah. And then he snapped his head and he's like, let's go. Like he didn't even know who it was. And I was just like, all right, auto shed. But,
oh, man.
Yeah, not my best, but.
Hey, well,
I'm glad I
did. Man.
That's where, as a general manager, you'd think that you'd pat the guy on the back and be like, well, awesome job showing up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not that you went out there and, again, challenged Foligno off the face-off for no goddamn reason, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
But you're building off that fight. I mean, I think you had like 5 total NHL fights, and like you play a greasy game, or you're hard around the net and you stick up for yourself. And the one fight I did want to ask you about was Mark Friedman. Did he just get picked up on waivers when you not too far before you'd fought him?
Yeah. Yeah, he got picked off waivers maybe like a couple weeks, a month before that. And that was at the time in COVID where you're playing back-to-backs against the same team.
Right.
And I remember, so he caught me with a clean hit.
Yeah.
And I went down, and then Jakey came and cross-checked him, like in my defense, and I was like, no. Like I didn't want to be like, Jakey's gonna go fight Freeds. Like I was like, no, I'll take him. And like me and Freeds have a great relationship, so it wasn't like I wanted to.
Right.
Right.
It was just kind of, if it's gonna be me or Jake, it's gonna be me. So that's kind of how that happened. But I really, like I said, I really just enjoy the art of fighting. I don't think there's many guys my size in the NHL. Like I'm pretty small guy, pretty light. So I usually have to go up a class or two if I fight again. I love it. I think when other guys fight, like we have McEwen, he's so tough, man.
He is tough.
And it really just brings so much energy to the bench.
It really does.
It can really change a game. So, it's such a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, I always say to people, everyone was sitting in their seats when it doesn't matter who's fighting.
Yeah, right.
Like everyone's up. It just,
it's the best.
like you said, it gives your team a lift, man. And you see guys do it when you get down a few goals or a big hit, but it does always get you going, man.
Yeah. It's actually awesome to hear a young 21-year-old actually have this perspective, because I feel like they've tried so hard to get fighting out of the game, especially in the junior levels, putting like the cap on fighting majors and all this stuff. I feel like the younger generation doesn't really appreciate the element of self-policing and accountability, where to hear you talk like that is refreshing, but you grew up watching the Flyers, so it's probably ingrained in your DNA,
and
right?
Having 2 older brothers, I'm sure games got a little rough around the house.
Yeah, for sure.